Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For this cycle, I guess you would call it, I'm going to use the Awaken Tarot. I haven't used this one in a while, but I do like this deck. I think it was created like a group effort because it's got team. I always mess up the name. RYVE, so Reeve. And there's myreeve.com at the bottom if you want to check that out. So that way if you like this deck and you want to check it out, feel free to do so. There's that. The Oracle cards I'm going to be using are Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Big fan of Sandra. And the website, that's why I got the book out. The websites are, am I on the right one? Yep, there are a bunch of Hay House websites. Feel free to freeze frame and go into any of those you're interested in. Sandra Ann Taylor, I think there's something on the back here too, so I'll show you that. Feel free to freeze frame and check out any of the information. I think there's a website at the bottom, or there's a Hay House Radio link there or something. And the last part is I do use dice. For the major arcana, I use a 22-sided dice. I use 22 as 0 for the Fool, and then, up to 21 is the World. And then I have a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. And Math Art Fun, I think, is what the website is. If I get that close enough, hopefully you can see it. mathartfun.com if you want to find the dice. Alright, I think we're good with that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and now let's go on to your read. Hello, Leo. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Leo? That's interesting. Okay. Possibilities are everywhere, but that's its own subject. What's going on here? Oh, it's a long one. And then, yeah. Okay. I feel like you've been resisting a choice. Did somebody give you the wrong impression? I think somebody gave you the wrong impression of something. You've been resisting a choice, but somebody either gave you the wrong impression, or I don't want to compare you to another sign. I think that's a bad idea. You have your own way of doing things. You get in there, you take care of it, you blow through it, right? You do what you got to do. Other signs, let's just use that. Other signs, I'm not going to say which ones. They have a lot slower pace than you. They may be very powerful in their own right, but a lot of signs, not all of them, but a lot of them are noticeably slower than you. Painfully so. And just because they get success doing it their way doesn't mean you have to do it their way. But for some reason, there seems to be this misconception that whatever it is that you want to do, it's going to be a long road, it's going to be a heavy road, and it's going to take a lot of tedious work. A lot of tedious work, a lot of tedious work. And a lot of tedious work, like Leo goes in there and gets it done. Doing, how to explain this? Taking a 5-pound rock up a hill, 5 miles, 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, that's typically not Leo's jam. Leo's more like, all right, let me see how many rocks I can hold at once. And I may almost die on the way up there, but I'll get them up there. And it's kind of like, maybe you can get 40 pounds up. And then you get 30 pounds up. And maybe all right, I'm tired now, I'll take 10 pounds up. But then you're like, you know what, I wonder if I could do 50. And you're just like, I'm going to take 50 pounds up. So this is how Leo does things. You do things in the moment, whatever you feel is necessary, however you feel makes the most sense. You're like, you know what, let me borrow that wheelbarrow. Maybe I can do a bunch more at once. I don't really want to take 1 5-pound rock at a time. It's going to take me for my whole life. But for some reason, somebody gave you the impression, nope, got to do it 5 pounds at a time, 5 miles up this hill, 5 miles back down. 1 rock at a time, up and down and up and down. It'll take most of your life, but you'll make it happen. You're like, this might be why you've been avoiding this. It looks very tedious. And there's a lot of possibilities here. Are you making a choice? You are making a choice. You have this Ace of Wands. I feel like it's come to the point where it's like, you know what, I just got to do it and get it done. The same subject, you're pulling the trigger and you're just like, I'm just going to have to do it. I just got to sign up for this course. Maybe it's going through college or something like that. I'm just going to sign up for it. I'm just going to do it. I need to do it. I'm just going to do it. And while it is stressful for you, you also know that you will succeed. You're like, oh, I don't really want to do it this way, but it'll work. I'll be thankful when I'm on the other side. I can make it happen. I just don't think I'm going to enjoy it. I feel like that's what it is. I can make it happen. I just don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, so here we go. And when you make this decision, I feel like, well, now I've done it. I've made my decision. I've signed up for the course. I've paid the money. People are ready for me. I've moved things in my life around. And now I feel like I'm stuck with it. And I'm just like, oh, God. I feel like now I feel like I'm trapped with it, but at the same time I want to just totally ditch it. I'm just like, I don't really want to do it now. Now that I've like locked myself into it, I guess I could just not show up if I really don't want to. I feel like I'm playing with those things, but then I'm also really attached to it. There's a lot going on here. I keep questioning, like, if I really have to do this, is there a way I could get out of this? Is this really going to be worth it in the long run? There's a lot of things going around in your head. Like, I feel like it comes in and out. The first piece of advice is to like step back from it, go along with it, and just see what it works out for you, because this is going to be different for you than it has been for other people. Let's remember that. You have your own energy. You have your own way. Step back and just have that, like, you know what, when the first day shows up, I'm going to see how it goes, and we'll just see how it goes for me. Let's see how it goes for Leo. You're your own flavor. You know you're your own flavor. Let's just see how it works out for you. That's the first piece of advice. Detach from how it worked out from other people and whatever proof and rules and whatever they have. That's great. That's nice. Let's wait till you step in the arena and let's see what you do with it. It may seem like there's no flexibility here. Flexibility? Am I saying it right? But let's get there first and see how it works for you. That's the first piece of advice, because it's kind of like, you got this. You're going to like this more than you realize. This is more to your liking than you've seen. It's going to come forward fairly quickly. I don't feel like it's a long time before this. Like, for example, it could be 3-4 months from now before you're actually going to start whatever it is. That time will fall flat on the floor. Now, that time will go by like that. It'll go, yeah, I can't even hold on to this card. It keeps falling out of my hand. The initial start, it's going to be stressful for you. A lot of it might be because preconceived notions, and you're like, oh, yeah, people said it was going to be tedious. I can already see 5 tedious pieces to this thing. Oh, yeah, people said it was going to take forever. Yep, they already said what I want to do. It's going to take me 8 years. Oh, God. That's going to be your initial reaction. Give yourself a chance to sink into it, to relax into it. There's a lot more possibilities here. You don't want to be foolish and just kind of ignore it. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying ignore it and just kind of like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see how far I make it. We're not looking for that. That's not what they're saying. They're saying devise your plan and highlight what you're good at, highlight what you love. So, for example, if it's one of these things where it's like, all right, I have to go through this course after course. Some of these courses you're going to be able to jump ahead on. Some of these courses you're going to already know things that other people don't. Leo tends to have a lot of energy, and you just kind of like I just feel like you go ahead. For example, if we're going to use there's a major you're going to go through, and there's all these different courses. You might want to look at, like, for example, so it's 8 years. So I don't know, you're going for a doctorate in something. We're just going to say, I'm thinking that's 8 years, but whatever it is. You might want to just kind of take a look and kind of like, what are all the courses that you have to do in these 8 years? Do any of these match up? You know what I mean? Just kind of put together the puzzle. Kind of like, you know what? If I volunteer at this place, how much of this can I learn that would actually mirror into all these other courses that I could actually get ahead on? how much of this kind of adds up in a long term? Like, how many of these things have similarities? You might find like there's a path for you where you can actually get ahead, not in the sense of like getting courses out of the way before it's your turn, but you might like, okay, I'm not going to take that course until year 3, but there's no reason I can't work at this place and actually start working on that and start getting used to that, and already know it before I even get there. So that way when I have to take that course, not a thing, not a problem. I just got to, do the coursework. I just got to do the tests. I just got to write up the assignments. I already know what I'm doing. This is it could be something that takes 8 years, but you might have your own way to do it, and it's really not that bad for you. Keep that in mind. Follow what you like. Think it out. Look at things that match up. Look at it in your scope. Look at it through your lenses. What works for you? You can still work within the rules, but still make it work to your liking. You can still have control of this, even though people don't like that you're jumping ahead. Maybe they don't need to know you're jumping ahead. Maybe they don't need to know you're jumping ahead. Once you get a hold of what this is for you, again, I'm showing this 8-year thing. Like, say it's something you're going to have to take courses for 8 years. You may have to do that, but you may be able to get ahead of this situation, and it may be a lot easier for you because of the way you handle things. Like, yeah, I'm not going to use that till year 3, but I can get this job and I can learn how to do that on the job, or get information on the job, so that way when it's my turn to do that, I got it. No worries. You have your way of doing things. Does this make sense? Like, the timeline may still be 8 years, but by the time you get to the 8th year, it might be like a breeze for you because you had it all done beforehand. You got it all done really quickly. You just had to go the process and prove that you knew what you were doing. Keep that in mind. Because the Ace of Pentacles shows up for you, and it's not going to, I feel like it's not going to be that hard for you. It's not going to be as tedious or painful as it looked like it was going to. Fair warning, other people may believe that you're cheating, or, how do I put this? That you're causing some type of damage, or like, people might be really bent out of shape because you can do what you can do and they can't follow. Just be aware that other people are like, no, this isn't how you do it, Leo. You're doing it wrong, Leo. You shouldn't have had that job, Leo. You shouldn't have had that information, Leo. See, you knew that out of order, and now you're not going to learn it the way you're supposed to. You're going to be faulty. It's not true. People have issues when you do things your own way. I know. Just be aware of it. There's going to be, if you don't follow other people's rules and they're aware of it, they're probably going to be a problem for you. They don't have to be. So if you can help it, don't be in the forefront of these things. Like, don't offer information that people don't need to know. So whatever this is, for example, you get a job over here, you learn a lot about how it works all on your own, making some money at the same time. You get ahead. Again, you're not going to use this until the 3rd year, but it keeps branching off, and you learn a lot of this way beforehand. You find out what the book is for this other course that you're not going to use till the 7th year, but you're like, yeah, but I'm interested in it. I want to know, so I'm going to do it now because I can, and I want to. You do what you got to do. Maybe you make a friend, and this friend is taking the 5th year of stuff, and they're telling you what they're going through, and they're giving you information. So what? It's stuff you got to know anyway. You have to learn it anyway. Do it on your terms. Connect in on your terms. But just be careful who you tell about it. Even though it's not wrong, people who are like, no, this has to go in this order, Leo. No, Leo, this has to go in this order. They're going to get bent out of shape. They don't have to know. It's up to you. If you end up spilling the beans, then you spill the beans. They're just saying you don't have to have a problem with that. Just, keep distance from, it's highly advised just to keep distance from those type of people. Keep them as much distance between you and them as you can. It's the easiest way to do it. If you can stay around these people and just not tell them what you're doing, cool. Do whatever you got to do. They're just saying just because it works for you and they don't understand it doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, just because it wouldn't work for them, I think, just because it wouldn't work for them doesn't mean it's wrong. You don't have to have that problem. You don't have to deal with that if you don't want to. Because ultimately, you will have success in this situation. You will get what you need to go. You will get what you need to go. You will go where you need to go. You will get what you need to get. I think I was tripping over. I was mixing those two. So success is yours. I mean, it's there. I just feel like they're saying you don't have to worry about other people's qualifications or other people's standards. Just remember that. Just don't share what you're doing. It's a lot easier. There. Are we good? I feel like we're done. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.